So I decided to read some more to you guys while I wait for my hair to dry. So, continuing on with the story. And my other videos are in my playlist that's totally dedicated. Oh my god, sorry. This is my eye. Totally dedicated to the story. And yeah. So, continuing on. Yes, there's usually some I say. Katniss, it's just hunting. You're the best hunter I know, says Gale. It's not just hunting. They're armed. They think, I say. So do you, and you've had more practice. Real practice, he says. You know how to kill. Not people, I say. How different can it really be, says Gale grimly. The awful thing is that if I can forget they're people, it will be no different at all. The peacekeepers are back too soon, and Gale asks for more time, but they're taking him away, and I start to panic. Don't let them starve, I cry out, clinging to his hand. I won't. You know I won't, Katniss. Remember, he says, and they yank us apart and slam the door. And I'll never know what it was he wanted me to remember. It's a short ride from the Justice Building to the train station. I've never been in a car before, rarely even ridden in wagons, and the same we travel on foot. Where was I? I've been right not to cry. The station is swarming with reporters and their insect-like cameras, trained directly on my face. But I've had a lot of practice wiping my face clean of emotion, and I do this now. I can catch a glimpse of myself on the television screen on the wall that's airing my arrival live, and feel gratified that I appear almost bored. Peter Malark, on the other hand, has obviously been crying, and interestingly enough, does not seem to be trying to cover it up. I immediately wonder if this will be his strategy in the games, to appear weak and frightened, to reassure the other tributes that he is no competition at all, and then come fighting. This worked well for a girl, Joanna Mason from District 7 a few years back. She seemed like such a sniveling, cowardly fool that no one bothered about her until there were only a handful of contestants left. It turned out she could kill viciously. Pretty clever the way she played it, but this seemed an odd strategy for Peter Malark because he's a baker's son. All those years of having enough to eat, hauling bread trays around, have made him broad-shouldered and strong. It will take an awful lot of weeping to convince anyone to overlook him. We have to stand a few minutes in the doorway of the train while the cameras gobble up our images. Then we're allowed inside, and the doors close mercifully behind us. The train begins to move at once. The speed initially takes my breath away. Of course, I've never been on a train, as travel between districts is forbidden, except for official sanctioned duties. For us, that's mainly transporting coal. But this is no ordinary coal train. It's one of the high-speed capital models that average 250 miles per hour. Or 250, whatever. Our journey to the capital will take less than a day. In school, they tell us the capital was built in a place once called the Rockies. District 12 was in a region known as Appalachia. Even hundreds of years ago, they mined coal here, which is why our miners have to dig so deep. Somehow it all comes back to coal at school. Besides basic reading and math, most of our instruction is coal-related. Except for the weekly lecture on history of Panem, it's mostly a lot of blather about what we owe the capital. I know there must be more than they're willing to tell us, an actual account of what happened during the rebellion. But I don't spend much time thinking about it. Whatever the truth is, I don't see how it will help me get food on the table. The tribute train is fancier than even the room in the Justice Building. We are each given our own chambers that have a bedroom, dressing area, and private bathroom with a hot and cold running water. We don't have hot water at home unless we boil it. There are drawers filled with fine clothes, and every trinket tells me to do anything I want, wear anything I want. Everything is at my disposal. Just be ready for supper in an hour. I peel off my mother's blue dress and take a hot shower. I've never had a shower before. It's like being in the summer rain, only warmer. I dress in a dark green shirt and pants. At the last minute, I remember Madge's little gold pin. For the first time, I get a good look at it. It's as if someone has fashioned a small golden bird and then attached a ring around it. The bird is connected to the ring only by its wingtips. I suddenly recognize it, a mockingjay. They're funny birds and something of a slap in the face of the Capitol. During the rebellion, the Capitol bred a series of genetically altered animals as weapons. The common term for them was mutations, or sometimes mutts for short. One was a special bird called a jabberjay that had the ability to memorize and repeat whole human conversations. They were hummingbirds, exclusively male, that were released into regions where the Capitol's enemies were known to be hiding. After the birds gathered in the woods, they'd flock back to the centers to be recorded. It took people a while to realize what was going on in the districts, how private conversations were being transmitted. Then, of course, the rebels fed the Capitol endless lies, and the joke was on it. So the centers were shut down, and the birds were abandoned to die off in the wild. Only they didn't die off. Instead, jabberjays mated with female mockingbirds and created a whole new species that could replicate both bird whistles and human melodies. They had lost the ability to enunciate words, but could still mimic a range of human vocal sounds. From a child's high-pitched warble to a man's deep tones, and they could recreate songs, not just a few notes, but whole songs with multiple verses. If you had the patience to sing to them, if they liked your voice. My father was particularly fond of mockingjays. When we were hunting, he would whistle or sing complicated songs to them, and after a polite pause, they'd always sing back. Not everyone is treated with such respect. But whenever my father sang, all the birds in the area would fall silent and listen. His voice was that beautiful, high and clear, and so filled with life that it made you want to cry and laugh at the same time. I could never bring myself to continue the practice after he was gone. Still, there's something comforting about the little bird. It's like having a piece of my father with me, protecting me. I fastened the pin onto my shirt, and with the dark green fabric as the background, I can almost imagine the mockingjay flying through the tree. Every trinket comes to collect me for supper. I follow her through the narrow, rocking corridor into a dining room with polished panel walls. There's a table where all the dishes are highly breakable. Peter Malark sits waiting for us in the chair. The chair next to him empty. Where's Hamish? Asked Effie brightly. Last time I saw him, he was going to take a nap, says Peter. Well, it's been an exhausting day, says Effie. I think she's relieved by Hamish's absence, and who can blame her? Then supper comes in courses. A thick carrot soup, green salad, lamb chops, and mashed potatoes, cheese and fruit, and a chocolate cake. Throughout the meal, Effie Trinket keeps reminding us to save space because there's more to come. But I'm stuffing myself because I've never had food like this. It's so good and so much, and probably because the best thing I can do between now and the game is put on a few pounds. At least the two of you have decent manners, says Effie as we're finishing the main course. The pair last year ate everything with their hands like a couple of savages. It completely upset my digestion. Maverick. The pair last year were two kids from the scene who never, not one day of their lives, had enough to eat. And when they did have food, table manners were surely the last thing on their minds. Peter's the baker's son. My mother taught Prim and me to eat properly, so yes, I can handle a fork and knife. But I hate Effie Trinket's comments so much, I make a point of eating the rest of my meal with my fingers, then I wipe my hands on the tablecloth. This makes her purse her lips tightly together. Now that the meal's over, I'm fighting to keep the food down. I can see Peter is looking a little green too. Neither of our stomachs is used to such rich fare. But if I can hold down Greasy Say's concoction of mice meat, pig entrails, and tree bark, and a winter specialty, I'm determined to hang on to this. We go to another compartment and watch the recap of the reaping across Pan Am. They try to stagger them throughout the day so a person could conceivably watch the whole thing. But only people in the capital could really do that, since none of them have to attend reapings themselves. One by one, we see other reapings, names called, the volunteers stepping forward, or more often not. We examine the faces of the kids who will be our competition. A few stand out in my mind. A monstrous boy who lunges forward to volunteer from District 2. A fox-faced girl with sleek red hair from District 5. A boy with a crippled foot from District 10. And most hauntingly, a 12-year-old girl from District 12. She has dark brown skin and eyes, but other than that, she's like Prim in size and demeanor. Only when she mounts the stage and they ask for volunteers, all you can hear is the wind whistling. Through decrepit buildings around here. There's no one willing to take her place. Last of all, they show District 12, Prim being called, me running forward to volunteer. You can't miss the desperation in my voice as they shove Prim behind me, as if I'm afraid no one will hear and I'll take Prim away. But of course they do hear. I see Gail pulling her off me and watch myself mount the stage. The commoners are not sure what to say about the crowd's refusal to applause. The silence flew. One says District 12 has always been a bit backward, but that the local customs can be charming. As if on cue, Hamish falls off the stage. They groan comically. Peter's name is drawn and he quickly takes his place. We shake hands, they cut to the anthem again. The program ends. Effie Trinket is disgruntled about the state of her wig was in. Your mentor has a lot to learn about presentation, a lot about televised behavior. Peter unexpectedly laughs. He was drunk, says Peter. He's drunk every year. Every day, I add. I can't help smirking a little. Effie Trinket makes it sound like Hamish is just somewhat rough manners that could be corrected with a few tips from her. Yes, hisses Effie. How odd you find it amusing. You know your mentor is your lifeline to the world and the games. The one who advises you, lines up your sponsors, and dictates presentations and many gifts. Hamish can well be the difference between your life and your death. Just then, Hamish staggers into the apartment. I miss supper, he says in a slurred voice. He then vomits all over the expensive carpet and falls into the mess. So, laugh away, says Effie Trinket. She hops in her pointy shoes around the pool of vomit and flees the room. Alright, so probably tomorrow, maybe, I will read a chapter 4. But yeah, so now we are on our way to the games. And it's just, I don't know, I think this is really where the story obviously starts picking up a little bit more. And yeah. Obviously there's so much I could say. But anyways, if you are watching this, I'm considering doing live streaming one of these days. So I will keep you guys posted about that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.